Part 52. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 512. Great Fortune Star Realm. Endless grey fog fills the air. At this moment, everyone was trembling, and the strong men of the Dragon Demon clan were all kneeling on the ground. They were completely desperate. Just now, miracles such as reflecting the heavens were manifested, but they were lost in sight at the sight of that weird grey mist. What exactly is this? The legend is true, a disaster that can destroy the world. The great destruction is coming. They murmured that this was beyond their knowledge. This thing actually attracted the attention of a powerful person who can reflect the heavens. Moreover, even such a peerless powerful person was backlashed. Long Pantheon knelt on the ground, tears streaming from his eyes, and said, "Our clan has unleashed a catastrophe, and the era may end." He was extremely remorseful. Because of greed, not only their lineage will be wiped out, but the entire star field, and even the entire universe, may be destroyed. And at this moment, that strange spirit has been approaching step by step. Its expression was so indifferent, like a rock, as if the eye of the peerless powerhouse that reflected the heavens had exploded, and it was not worthy of its attention at all. Hey, how do you deal with this thing? Qing Chen looked a little ugly and said, "I'm afraid my 5 Zhang temple won't be able to transcend this thing." The big black dog also has extremely solemn eyes. The strange spirit this time was extremely terrifying. In the original era, I even fought against the molten gold ancestral tree, Wu Dade's previous life, etc. During that battle, the molten gold ancestral tree sealed the strange grey mist within its body, but part of it was not refined until today, when it was born. It can be said that this strange spirit is even older than the entire underworld. The strange spirit suddenly turned around and stared at Wu Dade. Wu Dade had just been secretly attacked by Lu Zhuozai, and he just got up from the white sand. When he saw this strange spirit, he was immediately startled. Before he could react, the next moment, a strange spirit appeared in front of him. "You damn thing, you killed my brother, I'll kill you." Wu Dade roared angrily, raised his fist and struck at the strange spirit. He punched out, and the strange spirit in front of him suddenly dispersed. Wu Dade was stunned for a moment. Could it be that he was killed by himself? However, the next moment, heavy fog and grey mist filled the sky, directly wrapping him. Qing Chen and others could no longer see Wu Dade clearly. "Dead dog, help. Nah, this damn thing is biting me. If you don't take action, dead dog, I will no longer be loved by anyone." In the heavy fog, Wu Dade's trembling wail suddenly came out. "Junior brother." Qing Chen was also anxious. He manifested the magical power of the thousand-handed god Buddha, but he was also unable to cause any harm to the strange grey mist. The big black dog's eyes were very solemn at this moment. He suddenly raised his paws, and a mirror actually appeared in front of him. The mirror looks ordinary, similar to that used by ordinary farmers. Do you really think that this emperor is unprepared? The backup force that this emperor has brought, even if you are the eternal grey mist, you still have to kneel down. Woof woof, woof woof woof. The big black dog activated the mirror, pointed it at the endless grey fog in front of it, and at the same time barked at the mirror. And at this moment, the great ruins realm. In a small mountain village, in a small courtyard, Li Fan was playing backgammon with Yun 11, and a group of disciples were doing their own things, calm as usual. The little white cat was playing with a group of small animals. Sometimes it raised its little paws and touched the head of the little wolf, and sometimes jumped on the back of the little golden calf. The little Kylin whined and purred at her, so she gave some cat food to the little Kylin. The little Kylin was very happy. Suddenly, she seemed to sense something, and immediately ran all the way to Li Fan's room. There is a mirror in Li Fan's room. The little white cat heard several dog barks. Sister cat, help me, please save the dog's life. If it's too late, you won't be able to see me, the dog, and you won't be able to eat dragon meat and cat food. She looked and saw grey mist slowly reflected in the mirror. The endless grey mist surged and filled the air. At this moment, everyone in the small courtyard suddenly changed their expressions. What's going on? Why did I sense the breath of a strange spirit? Duguyuking was writing calligraphy when he suddenly raised his eyes and stared in the direction of the room. Suzaku stopped on his shoulder and raised his head, seemingly confused. No way. A strange fog has come to the house. How dare you appear in Master's bedroom? Zi Ling's eyes widened even more. A group of disciples were all frightened. They all heard Xiling, Duguyuking, and others talk about strange spirits. Once it appears, gods and ghosts can destroy all life. The old hen who was pecking at the corn suddenly raised her eyes. Among the swimming koi, one suddenly jumped out of the water. The peach tree branches droop lightly. In the room, Bai Xiaoqing was also anxious. Meow meow, the dogs and the others are in danger. She hurriedly ran out and meowed at Li Fan. Huh? Little naughty boy, what's wrong? Li Fan spoke doubtfully, stood up immediately, and followed Xiaobai over. A group of disciples also followed nervously. Could the strange spirit appear in Master's bedroom? Li Fan walked into the room and saw the little white cat raising its paw, pointing at the mirror, and meowing. Li Fan looked around and saw that the mirror was dusty, as if there was a layer of grey mist. What's reflected in the mirror is a strange spirit. Duguyuking is extremely dignified. It's Dehei and the others, they met a strange spirit outside. This time the strange spirit is far more terrifying than the last time. Zi Ling was immediately extremely worried. But Li Fan just smiled slightly, touched Xiaobai's head and said, "It's so naughty, it made the mirror stained with dust. But it's okay, just wipe it clean." He immediately picked up the mirror calmly, reached out and wiped it gently. Suddenly, the grey fog on the mirror disappeared. The bright mirror is restored to its original state. With this moment, the terrifying Qi just now suddenly disappeared. Zi Ling and others were stunned. "Master, what did Master do?" Zi Ling's big eyes were filled with shock. She suspected that the Master might not have used some earth-shattering magical power. Could it be that he took action through the mirror? The big devil, so scary. Yun 11 also spoke with some fear. Outside the room, a group of chickens were trembling on the ground, and a group of fish were still in the water. And at this moment, Great Fortune Star Realm. The big black dog was so nervous. In the strange grey fog, Wu Dade's calls for help kept coming. However, at this moment, a chi machine suddenly came out from the mirror. A hand was reflected in the mirror. That hand looked ordinary, with rather slender fingers, as if it belonged to a scholar who often picked up a pen to write. At this moment, he touched it gently. With this touch, the strange grey fog all over the sky was dissipating rapidly. Annihilation, dissipation, nowhere to escape, complete disappearance. The fog dissipated quickly, and Qing Chen and others finally saw the scene in the fog. In the heavy fog, I saw a strange spirit holding Wu Dade and gnawing at him. At this moment, it seemed as if it felt the breath of destruction. The strange spirit raised its head and looked at that ordinary hand. Then, the strange spirit suddenly let go of Wu Dade, then trembled all over and knelt on the ground. The strange thing looked at the hand and made a ho-ho dash sound. "Gently wipe it with your hand. The strange spirit is like a pencil drawing that has been erased from this world." For a moment, the world was quiet. It was as if nothing had ever happened. Just like everything just now was just a dream. When Long Pantian and others from the Dragon Demon tribe saw this scene, they were completely stunned. They were stunned, as if dead. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 513. The world was shocked. The peerless strong man from the divine realm reflects the heavens and uses his great supernatural powers to peer into the star realm. Immediately, the divine eye exploded, and the fluctuations shook the entire universe. All the people are in despair. What kind of disaster can make the eyes of the gods explode? Impossible. How could it be possible for a strong man from the 33rd heaven to reflect the heavens to fail? In the one-corner star field, the peerless God Lord was stunned. He was incredulous to the extreme. Could it be that there is a catastrophe in this world that even the divine realm cannot suppress? All the people are in despair. However, immediately after, the aura that made the heavens tremble and panic suddenly disappeared. The whole world fell into a kind of quiet that returned to normal. What's going on? Has the disaster been resolved? No. Didn't the eyes of the gods explode? I understand. The eye of the gods didn't explode at all. It was a great magical power that suppressed that kind of disaster. For a time, the world was shocked and disgusted. Yes, how can it be possible that the strong man who reflects the heavens can't handle it? The existence above the divine realm suppressed everything. The existence above the divine realm is indeed terrifying. The people of the world are extremely happy, and countless people are worshipping the divine realm. In their opinion, it was a peerless powerhouse above the divine realm who solved this catastrophe. At the same time, in the corner of the star field where the Dephos star realm is located, in the void, the peerless God Lord suddenly realized it at this moment and said, "Sure enough, his old man suppressed everything. As expected of a great man who commands the heavens." He was extremely excited. And at this moment, Dephos star realm, in the secret realm of white sand. Everyone looked at the scene in the field and was stunned. Incredible to the extreme. Unlike the outside world, they saw everything happening here with their own eyes. However, precisely because of what they saw with their own eyes, the Dragon Demon clan and others found it even more unbelievable. How could everything suddenly disappear? Just for a moment, the universe trembled and the people wailed. Above the divine realm, there is a peerless powerful man who reflects the heavens. He monitors the lower world with great magic power, manifests magical powers, and causes shocking waves in the world. However, even the great magician who reflected the heavens eventually fell into ruins. It can be said that it is extremely despairing. But the hand reflected in the mirror touched it gently. But the strange grey mist disappeared from this world. It's as if it never existed. That mirror, what kind of treasure is that mirror? Long Peinyun stared at the mirror in the big black dog's paw, feeling extremely shocked. How can there be such a powerful person in the world? This dog, what is the origin of this dog? Long Pantian was also trembling, he couldn't even imagine it. Could it be that it comes from above the divine realm? What kind of existence can suppress the mist of disaster even through a mirror? Hey, just now, the one who took action just now was. Ching Chen looked at the big black dog in disbelief. It seems to be Master's hand. Make a move through the mirror and make the eternal evil mist completely dissipate with just one touch. Master is indeed, the eternal giant Buddha. Bullshit, damn, you almost killed me. Wu Dade stood up with difficulty. His body was covered with wounds, as if he had been bitten by something. Moreover, those wounds were faintly decaying. Damn dog, did Master or him take action just now? Wu Dade asked with great anticipation while covering his butt. Even the big black dog himself was stunned at the moment. He looked at the mirror in disbelief, his legs shaking a little. Wow, the owner took action and scared the dog to death. Sister Cat's face is really not something you can hide. It couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Originally, It just wanted to ask Xiaobai to notify the chickens, fish, peach trees, etc. in the yard. But if it couldn't do it, those spiders and ants could help. But he never expected that the master would take action himself. No, I must hug Sister Cat's thigh tightly. Thinking of this, it couldn't help but immediately turned its dog eyes and stared at the people of the Dragon Demon clan next to it. Long Pantheon and others felt the big black dog's gaze at this moment, and their hearts were suddenly filled with chills. That, dog, brother dog, we have something to discuss, it's easy to discuss. Long Pantheon spoke weakly. Long Pantheon was even more ruthless. With a sudden palm, he cut off his left arm, held it up with both hands, and said, "Brother dog, you can eat whatever you want. No, it's not respectful, it's not respectful. They are really scared." What is his background? Even the mist of disaster was suppressed in a matter of minutes. How dare you and others dare to be disrespectful to them before? He even once threatened to kill someone? My intestines are full of regret. Now, all I want to do is survive with my arms broken. However, the big black dog raised his paw and said, "Little monk, receive the goods." As he said that, his claws immediately fell down. No. Long Pantheon, and others all screamed in agony. However, they had completely lost the courage to resist. At this moment, their true spirits were instantly wiped out, and they turned into huge dragons, rolling on the ground like giant loaches. "Tisk, good stuff, good stuff," Qing Chen said with a smile, and he immediately stepped forward and tied up all the dragons. "Damn fat man, go and get the molten gold tree." The big black dog continued to speak. Wu Date has also walked up to the molten gold ancestral tree. The molten gold tree was like a mace, and the strange grey mist was released. At this moment, the petrified surface was filled with dense cracks. Wu Date stretched out his hand to touch it, and in an instant, the stone fell down. After the stone case fell off, a golden trunk in the center was immediately revealed. The huge stone molten gold ancestral tree that was originally as tall as a person is now only about the length of a forearm, and the thorns on the surface have not yet grown. It looks similar to a slightly longer cucumber, with similar shape and length. But the bulging thorn buds will undoubtedly grow into terrifying spikes in the future. The molten gold ancestral tree is golden yellow from top to bottom, and its divine light is restrained. Molten gold tree. Wu Date picked up the molten gold tree and put it in his hand, which was similar to a small mallet. This tree has no roots and does not need soil. It can continue to grow by swallowing the world's divine gold. It's a pity that I can't eat it, but it's not bad to be a stick wielder. Wu Date spoke. Okay, now that the delivery is complete, it's time for us to leave. He turned around. Wrong. At this time, Qing Chen suddenly said, "What about the little monkey with 6 ears?" In the field, Lu Kailing disappeared at some point. The big black dog also said a little suspiciously. It seems that he escaped with the clan. Its attention just now was attracted by the strange grey fog. Just a glance from the corner of my eye. That human race seems to have a familiar smell. The big black dog murmured. "Don't be anxious, when the fate comes, we will meet. Eternal time and space, everything has been determined." Its eyes are burning. Qing Chen also nodded. He had tied up a long string of dragons, like a mountain, which was estimated to weigh nearly 10,000 kilograms. He said, "Walk. Go back to the village, have a dragon feast, and eat." And at this moment, in front of the ancestral land of the Dragon Demon clan, Lu Kailing found a stone token in a hall. That stone order was locked at the core of the Dragon Demon clan, but now that the elite of the Dragon Demon clan was gone, she felt like she was in a deserted place. Ancestral Demon Stone Order. But what she held in her hand was a broken stone that didn't look neat. Collect the 9 stone tokens and reproduce the mantra of the ancestral demon, only then can we activate the power of the ancestral demon and rescue him. Lu Kailing murmured and immediately turned around and left the hall. Outside the main hall, there is a medicinal field. The medicine fields are full of thousands of years old medicines, all of which are treasures. At this moment, a middle-aged man is frantically looting them. Seeing this scene, Lu Kailing looked a little complicated. This Ao Wushuan, although his cultivation is low, he is brave and careful. He is a rare talent, she thought. While in the secret realm, when everyone was fighting for the sacred tree of thorns, she discovered this human race, turned around and ran away. Extremely decisive. She then thought about it. Although the treasure was good, she was unable to fight for it, so she might as well kill it and find the ancestral demon stone token. So, she ran too. To this day, she still can't help but sigh that this person's knowledge and determination are too sufficient. At first glance, he looks like a man who has experienced great storms. It will become a great thing in the future. Ao Wushuan. She was about to leave, but before leaving, she opened her mouth and said, "Have you ever been to the small mountain village of that fat man and that dog?" She was a little skeptical. After all, the dog said that the small village behind them seemed to be able to suppress the fog of disaster. Ao Wushuan was in the medicine field, frantically harvesting the magic medicine. When he heard this, he couldn't help being startled, shaking his head like a rattle, and said, "No, no, no, I have nothing to do with that small mountain village in my life. I'll take you to escape, but don't accuse me wrongly." He didn't want to have anything to do with that damn little mountain village at all. It's so evil. Lu Kailing couldn't help but smile and said, "Okay, I'm just asking casually, but where are you going next? If not, how about you follow me? Maybe I can give you a lot of wealth in the future." Hearing this, Ao Wushuan's eyes lit up. Now that the Dafustar realm has been discovered by that damn little mountain village, he doesn't want to stay. Escape for your life. Then, the light in his eyes dimmed again, and his face showed a trace of sadness and grievance played by fate, and he said, forget it, you are a good person, no, you are a monster, and I don't want to harm you, so you should leave quickly. I suspect that I have been infected with evil luck." After he finished speaking, he looked up at the sky, full of sadness. "When can I get rid of this evil fate of my own? The fate of wandering around, the hardship of running around, it's like finding a place to hug someone's lap and live a peaceful life. Why is it so difficult?" But the thighs he hugged were so bent. It makes him almost doubt himself now. Hearing this, Lu Kailing couldn't help but want to laugh. She said, "If we want to suppress evil luck, we demon clan are not capable of this. Only the fortune god heaven among the 33rd heavens above the divine realm can suppress disasters and control the fortunes of all heavens. Ao Wushuan, see you later." She smiled slightly, and after speaking, her figure suddenly disappeared. Disappeared. Ao Wushuan was startled for a moment, but then he didn't care much. He worked hard to plunder the entire medicinal field. With a satisfied smile on his face, he turned around and left. After collecting so many good things this time, he could quietly find a place to retreat. He felt that he had to hide for a while and never show his face again. And at this moment, in the sky outside the Dragon Demon clan, several divine figures appeared. The leader is the true god Roy. The gods sensed that there was a big change here. Unexpectedly, there is actually a secret place of the monster clan hidden, haha, these monsters are really centipede insects that can survive even to death. He spoke indifferently. It's just that I don't seem to have found any strong demons, only some little demons. Beside him, true god Wan Kang spoke in confusion. Nonsense, those monsters sensed our arrival in this world and fled long ago. Will they stay? True God Roy is extremely disdainful. No. Why is there a human race there? True God Wan Kang's expression suddenly changed and he pointed at the mountain gate of the Dragon Demon clan. At the mountain gate, I saw a middle-aged man walking out with a big sack on his back and a satisfied smile on his face. Why does this guy look familiar? True God Roy was confused and fell down instantly. Who are you? Why are you here? He appeared in front of the middle-aged man and asked calmly. When Ao Wushuan saw these true gods, his heart suddenly thumped and his face turned ugly. The younger one is Ao Wushuan. I am a disciple of Fuxian sect, I am not a demon clan. He hurriedly explained. When True God Roy heard this, he suddenly realized. No wonder he felt familiar. It turns out to be this guy. Very good, Ao Wushuan, come with us. He spoke directly. Ao Wushuan's eyes widened when he heard this. He looked up at the sky with suspicion, wanting to curse this bitch. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 514. Roy Zhenshen and others took Ao Wushuan and flew all the way. In a short time, they had arrived at Fuling Mountain of Fuxian sect. Previously, Changdao Tianshen was deposed. True God Roy and others took him to the Great Fortune Star Realm and chose Fuling Mountain, where the divine aura of the Fuxian sect was strongest, to cultivate. During this period, these gods did not dare to go out even half a step. It wasn't until today, when the monstrous arrogance exploded and the divine eyes that illuminated the heavens appeared, that they felt that something big had happened. God, we are back. True God Roy returned and walked into a cave on Fuling Mountain. The sacred atmosphere in the cave is strong, and gods often sit cross-legged. However, when I walked in, I saw that Changdao Tianshen now had white hair and wrinkles on his face, as if he was old and would die soon. At the level of a god, one can live for thousands of years at least, but without the support of cultivation, after falling into the mortal world, he will rapidly age and die. God, you. True God Roy looked ugly. Changdao Tianshen raised his old face, his eyes full of despair, and said. I can't absorb the sacred breath. There is an inexplicable causal power that keeps me in a useless state. Hearing this, Roy Zhenshen and others all looked miserable. They had tried their best to gather the sacred aura for Changdao celestial god, but in the end, it was of no use. What kind of existence did this provoke? Ao Wushuan, who followed in, also had a complicated expression at the moment. You deserve it, this is it, you have to go to the Great Ruins realm, just forget it if you go there, you still go to attack, isn't this looking for death? What's going on with this person? Changdao Tianshen looked at Ao Wushuan with difficulty. Report to the God of Heaven, there is a secret realm of the demon clan hidden in the Defu Star realm. Ao Wushuan said that he was captured by the Jiaolong monster clan, but today, for some reason, the people of the Jiaolong monster clan disappeared, and he escaped. As he spoke, he looked flattering and said, God, this is the 10,000-year-old magic medicine that Ao Wushuan stole from the Dragon Demon clan. It will definitely be useful to you. Please give it a try. With that said, he handed over 2 magic medicines. Seeing this, Ao Wushuan was so angry that his eyes turned red. Damn, my Lao Ao's magic medicine. He hated it, but now, he could only grit his teeth and swallow it. Several adults, I seem to know where they escaped. Do you want to catch the monster? I'll take you there. He was ready to fight. These gods were no longer human beings, so he was ready to fight. However, Changdao God shook his head and said, no need. The Lord of God has sent news, go and fight with him immediately. He took out a message jade, sighed slightly, and said, "Take me to the Lord of God, maybe, he can help me." Hearing this, Roy Zhenshen and others were overjoyed. Now that the god has become a useless person, they really have no confidence in their hearts. It would be best if the god lord issues an order. Where is Ao Wushuan? It's useless to keep it, why not? True God Roy asked. Hearing this, Ao Wushuan hurriedly said, "Then shall I leave?" Changdao God said, "Keep it, he knows about the demon clan, and he might be useful to the Lord of God." Set off. Immediately, True God Roy and others left the Defu Star realm with Changdao Tianshen and Ao Wushuan. And at this moment, the cold depths of the universe, a place where gods and gods intertwine. Brother, the one who manifested just now, is this old man? A god with a powerful aura asked with trembling in his words. In front of him, there was a vague shadow. The existence in the shadow was surrounded by divine laws, and those divine laws were actually sealing themselves. It was as if he was afraid that the chi would escape and destroy the entire world. The 49th star field is where he is commanded. If there is a change here, of course it is him who manifests it. The shadow spoke solemnly and said, "As expected, the 49th star region is indeed the land of great cause and effect." That kind of aura appeared, forcing the old man to reflect the heavens and manifest his magical powers, and then suppress the strange aura. Things that are searched for in the 33rd heaven, must also be hidden in this star field. As he said that, Xueying raised his eyes, looked at the Lord of God, and said, "Xingluo, you are my brother, so I have fought for an opportunity for you to become a divine king. You must seize this opportunity. The heavenly secret formation has been ready for a long time. There is only one divine lord left. If you fail, there will be more people to take your place." Hearing this, Lord Xingluo took a deep breath and said, "Brother, don't worry. Before, it was because the whereabouts of the Dark Ghost Lord was unknown that day, which delayed a little time. Now, many star wheels have been formed, and the Sky Dark Ghost Lord has also appeared. I will do it as soon as possible." He knew deeply that the heavenly secret formation, which penetrated the heavens and the earth, was an arrangement from the 33rd heaven. Only 10 gods could activate it, which showed how terrifying it was. And I was able to get such an opportunity because of the Tianji formation. Except for his eldest brother, the Star Destroyer God Lord, the other 8 God Lords are also cultivating their own people. Whoever can become a God Lord first will be able to participate in the Tianji formation. That will be an unspeakably great opportunity. Tian and Ghost Lord, has your strength recovered now? The shadow asked calmly and said, "I have suppressed him for thousands of years. I hope he is still useful and not too weak." Lord Xingluo God said, "I was afraid that he wouldn't be able to do it, so I prepared a big gift for him, the death energy of all realms." He immediately told his plan. Hearing this, Xueying nodded and said, "However, you'd better add something more to the death energy. Let Tian and Ghost Lord become even more violent and terrifying. The more violent and terrifying he is, the greater the chance that you will be recognized by heaven and earth and be granted Tao fruit." Hearing this, Lord Xingluo was confused and said, "What should I do?" Xueying said, "You follow your plan, and I will send you a few blood monsters." Blood demon. Hearing these 2 words, Lord Xingluo couldn't help but shudder. Blood demons are the most ferocious clan among the demon clan, the most cruel and violent. Wasn't it already exterminated in the war between demons and gods? It's funny to say that after the demon world was destroyed, many demon clans hid in the lower world. I found some this time, and I collected a few blood demons casually. Xueying explained lightly. Lord Xingluo nodded and said, "I understand, thank you big brother." The shadow disappeared immediately. Afterwards, God Lord Xingluo left this place and appeared on a desolate piece of floating soil in the universe. Soon, in the universe, long rainbows streaked across like comets and quickly gathered on this piece of floating soil. My subordinate Changming pays homage to the Lord of God. Subordinate Gao Lei, pay your respects to the Lord of God. Subordinate Qi Yang, please pay your respects to the Lord God. They all knelt down, all of them gods. 8 gods in total. Huh? Why hasn't Changdao come yet? Lord Xingluo frowned slightly. Changdao Tianshen is responsible for the affairs of the Degzu star wheel. It is the closest to here, why is it so late? At this moment, in the void, there was a stream of light flying slowly. After a long time, the stream of light finally landed on the floating soil. As the light fell, I saw 5 true gods carrying a gray-haired old man, and a middle-aged man following them. True God Roy knelt down and shouted, God Lord, help me, Changdao God, he is dying. Suddenly, the expressions of the gods on the floating earth changed. And at this moment, Great Fortune Star Realm. Wu Dade, Qing Chen and Big Black Dog finally walked out of the secret realm. Coming out of the secret realm, I saw the demon refining lake in front of me, which was originally full of lifeless energy, but now it was extremely clear. Not even a trace of death can be seen. In fact, under the sunlight, the lake looks pretty good. Tisk, tisk, are these ghosts so powerful? Wu Dade couldn't help but speak and said. I don't know, ghosts can also purify the environment. At this moment, there was a gloomy wind ahead, and a group of ghosts appeared immediately. The leading ghost is the ghost Lord Tianan. Young man, salute your benefactor. The ghost Lord Tianan will just give you a big gift. A group of ghosts immediately knelt down. Then, the ghost master Tianan said, open your mouth and let your benefactors inspect the goods. As he spoke, he grinned first. A set of big white teeth that looked like neatly arranged pieces of jade. Behind him, a group of ghosts were also grinning. Seeing this scene, Qing Chen and Wu Dade both looked at each other. What's going on with these ghosts? They can't fix it? Which, you guys, are you, begging to have your teeth extracted? Qing Chen said tentatively. However, Tianan Ghost Lord nodded like a chicken pecking at rice and said. Benefactor, yes. Please. Qing Chen. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 515. What happened? Changdao Tianshen, is his cultivation completely ruined? How is it possible? In this lower world, a true god can be invincible. Who can hurt him? On a floating piece of cosmic soil, many gods-level figures were looking at Changdao God in surprise. Changdao Tianshen has white hair, his skin is wrinkled like old tree bark, and his breath is dying. Just like a mortal is about to die of old age. What happened? Even God Lord Xingluo's expression darkened at this moment. Changdao Tianshen was his right-hand general, but something happened. Report to God Lord, this great ruined star wheel is an evil section. True God Roy spoke immediately and told what happened before and after. Promoting the formation of the star wheel, the great ruins realm became the center. He led an army from hundreds of realms to attack the great ruins realm, but the result was total annihilation. Even the Changdao god was crippled. The key is that from beginning to end, they didn't know what kind of existence took action. There is no doubt that this is the work of the ghost master Tianan. At this time, among the many gods, one named Changming spoke angrily. Changdao Tianshen is his eldest brother. Indeed, Tianan Ghost Lord, should have discovered our traces. True God Roy also spoke. This is the only thing they can think of. Being able to defeat Changdao like this, it seems that Tianan's strength is stronger than I imagined. God Lord Xingluo narrowed his eyes slightly, but then sneered and said. However, that's fine. The stronger he is, the more successful I will be. Who is this person? He looked at Ao Wushuan. Reporting to the Lord God, this person's name is Xuanhuan. In the Defa star realm, there is a secret place of the Dragon Demon clan. He entered it and knows a lot about the Dragon Demon clan, so we brought him here. True God Roy spoke and said. The demon tribe is hiding in the lower realm, I'm afraid they have big plans. It's just that when we found out, they were already empty. Lord Xingluo said calmly. Whatever the intention is, it doesn't matter. He has now learned from his eldest brother, the Star Destroyer God Lord, that after the demon world was destroyed, the demon clan hid in various places, and there were many of them in the 49th star region. But, we can't make any trouble. My subordinate understands, I will destroy him now. True God Roy immediately spoke and turned around to kill Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan's face instantly turned pale. He knelt down directly towards Lord Xingluo and cried. No. I don't want to die. True God Roy's hand was about to fall, but Lord Xingluo suddenly gave a startled sound and stopped True God Roy. Huh. This person's legs actually seemed to contain two sacred sources. Lord Xingluo was very surprised and said. What magical fruit have you eaten? When Xuanhuan heard this, he immediately became excited and said. No, no, I was born like this, Lord God. He didn't dare to tell others that he once refined 2 apples obtained in a small mountain village into 2 legs. Everything about that small mountain village, he felt was evil. Hearing this, Lord Xingluo couldn't help but nodded and said. It seems that you have a lucky person who was born with such amazing legs. Are you willing to become my disciple? He believed that he was not mistaken. This boy's legs would be great in the future. Even in the divine realm, he is definitely considered a genius. Keeping this person around will definitely be of great use in the future. There is even a chance to graft the sacred source of his legs onto my own legs. Hearing this, Xuanhuan became excited and kowtowed on the spot, saying. Disciple Xuanhuan, meet the master. He spoke loudly. True God Roy and others were also shocked. This guy actually attracted the attention of the God Lord? Lord Xingluo smiled slightly, then looked at everyone and said. Now that many star wheels have been formed, the Ghost Lord of Heaven and Darkness has also appeared, the plan he has laid can be started. He looked back. In his eyes, in this desolate corner of the universe, the star wheels presented a magnificent scene. This corner of the cold and dark universe is located in the most remote part of the 49th star field. The power of creation is very thin. Originally there was not a single star wheel, only many star realms scattered around. Under his promotion, 9 star wheels have been formed during this period of time. 9 star wheels are scattered throughout the cold universe. Looking at the 9 star wheels, there was a coldness in his eyes. 9 star wheels, thousands of star realms, will create a grand ceremony. Witness his legend. The current Tianan Ghost Lord is far from strong enough. You take action, first destroy a star wheel, draw the death energy, and pour it into the great ruined star wheel. He spoke directly. This is his plan. To complete the ritual, the Sky Dark Ghost Lord must be strong enough. And the way to make Tianan Ghost Lord stronger is naturally to give him endless death energy. He will give a great gift to the Heavenly Dark Ghost Lord. The life-death energy from an entire star chakra. He believed that it would be enough to restore the Heavenly Dark Ghost Lord to his former peak state. Even if that wasn't enough, he wouldn't mind destroying a few more star wheels. Hearing this, the 8 gods all respectfully said. As commanded. At this time, God Chang Tian spoke and said, Master God, my eldest brother. He looked at Chang Dao Tianshen who was about to die, with a hint of unbearability in his eyes. However, the Lord of Star Wheel God just said lightly. This is the end of his life. I will avenge him. Chang Tianshen looked ugly, but he could only sigh helplessly and left immediately. Suddenly, Only the Xingluo God Lord and Ao Wushuan were left on this piece of floating soil in the universe. Ao Wushuan hesitated at the moment, but finally mustered up the courage and said, "Master, I have something I don't know whether to say or not." He felt that he had finally found a great man as his backer, so he couldn't look at his master and act foolishly. The world and the star wheel where that small mountain village is located must not be messed with. However, God Lord Xingluo said calmly, "If you don't know whether to talk about it or not, then don't talk about it." Ao Wushuan, Chang Tianshen and others left. They appeared outside a star wheel. This star wheel is called the Mingzhao star wheel. The most central seat of the eternal realm is called the illuminating realm. The distance between this star wheel and the Degzu star wheel is just right. Let's take action. Chang Tianshen spoke calmly. In an instant, the 8 gods took action separately. Chang Tian God landed in a star realm, and the power of the god was fully unleashed. In an instant, the whole world trembled. We are the wandering gods in this world. We pay our respects to God. The wandering gods of this world hurriedly came to salute. But Chang Tianshen had a cold expression on his face and lowered his palm. In an instant, the wandering god turned into flying ashes, and the whole world trembled. Vast areas of land suffered devastating blows, and creatures were bleeding, and deaths continued to occur. Half an hour later, Chang Dao Tianshen left this world. Behind him, this world is full of death, and the resentment of the people has formed an endless black cloud. This is just a microcosm. At this moment, hundreds of star realms in the Mingzhao star wheel suffered devastating massacres. Why? Why do gods want to destroy us? We are innocent. The people are wailing and all souls are trembling. For countless star realms, this is the end of the world and a nightmare. I don't know why I live, I don't know who I die for. The top can decide the life and death of countless people at the bottom with just a flick of their fingers and a thought. This is the world of the underworld, this is reality, there is no reason for the weak to prey on the strong. Soon, a star wheel was completely destroyed. All living things are dead. The energy of death is vast and surging. At the same time, now, on the surface of the universe, 2 rays of blood arrived in an instant. It transformed into 2 men dressed in blood. The bodies of these 2 men exuded a monstrous evil spirit, giving people a feeling of extreme danger. Their bodies were full of blood, as if they had come from a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. They are blood demons. Blood demons, it is said that this clan is born from the river of blood in the underworld. They are the corpses that rot in the river of blood in the underworld and become spirits. They have the characteristics of ghosts and demons at the same time. This demon clan is said to have mysterious origins. Even among the demon clan, they are the top clan. Moreover, because this clan emerged from death and was nourished by blood, they are born with the origin of murderous demons. Even in the demon world, few people dare to mess with him. During the war between demons and gods, the demon world was destroyed, and the river of blood in the underworld was cut off. This clan is rarely seen anymore. See the Lord Xingluo. One of them spoke and said, "I am bleeding out. This is my brother, bleeding out. The blood is left, the blood is gone." Lord Xingluo nodded. The auras of these 2 blood monsters were not much weaker than his. "Do you understand the purpose of why my elder brother asked you to come?" He spoke. Xuanhuan showed a cruel and demonic smile and said, "As long as we are willing, whether it is gods, ghosts, or demons, they will all become one of us. Cruelty, killing, distortion, are the most fundamental origins of this world." His mere words seemed to be able to ignite a twisted and bloodthirsty desire in people. Lord Xingluo nodded, stood on the floating soil, pointed at a certain star wheel, and said, "Where is the endless death energy? Go to Degzu star wheel with the energy of death. Let the ghost master hiding there, enjoy the gluttonous feast you have prepared for him." The two blood demons nodded, turned around instantly, turned into streams of light, and headed towards the star wheel of light. They arrived at the illumination star wheel, stood in the sky, and used the great magic power of the blood demon clan. Endless blood and death energy suddenly surged out from hundreds of realms throughout the star wheel. In the cold universe, a terrifying blood river was formed, with boiling and surging death energy all over it. "Brother, the feast has begun." Xuanhuan suddenly smiled evilly and submerged himself into the surging river of blood. The same goes for blood residue. Suddenly, this terrifying river of blood seemed to have gained life, tumbling away in the vast icy void and rushing towards the great ruined star wheel. Many gods and gods looked at the scene from a distance, and they all looked shocked. The ceremony is about to begin. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 516. The Great Ruins Realm. Wu Dade, Qing Chen and Big Black Dog finally came back. At the same time, there are a group of ghosts following them. These ghosts were so enthusiastic that Wu Dade and Qing Chen were stunned for a moment. "Does it really feel good to have your teeth pulled out?" Wu Dade was full of doubts along the way and said, "Damn dog, let me pull out your hair and try." "Wow, you are so favored by people. Do you think this emperor has bad teeth?" The big black dog immediately started to bite. Wu Dade covered his buttocks and ran away. He was filled with grief and anger. The fat man has already turned 9 golden bodies into his third, why can't Mao still hold the dog's teeth? He simply doubted that this dead dog seemed to be able to bite him forever. Not long after, the group of people arrived at the god burial wasteland. Back again. The ghost lord Tianan was a little emotional. At first, he escaped from the seal of the Star Destroyer God Lord, and when passing through this place, he accidentally fell into the secret realm of Suzaku ruins. If the tooth-pulling monster hadn't passed by, he would probably have been disabled for the rest of his life. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but feel deep gratitude in his heart. "My benefactor." They went all the way into the wilderness. Soon, we finally arrived in front of the small mountain village. Is this the small mountain village that the tooth extraction monster and the others are talking about? The group of ghosts were all shocked at this moment. Previously, Yongzi and Xiling told them that they should work hard to grow teeth, and when they grow teeth, they should remember to send the teeth to the small mountain village. However, in the descriptions of the two tooth extracting monsters, the small mountain village sounded ordinary. Now take a look. Among them, the sacred way is so strong that it can be compared with the treasures in the divine realm, right? Goichi spoke in shock. This place is so scary. Is it a strong man in the divine realm who has created a pure land? It's scary. Did this small mountain village fall from the divine realm? Many ghosts have seen the world, and now they can see how extraordinary this small mountain village is. The ghost lord Tianan was even more shocked. He stared at the small mountain village in front of him and said in shock, "How powerful are the people living here? Just taking a look at it actually gave me the illusion that I was facing a sacred forbidden area. If we get close, maybe we will be killed directly, right?" His scalp felt numb. He definitely couldn't afford to mess with this kind of place. Even in the divine realm, it is definitely a rare place. Dear demon commanders, share your things. At this time, in the mountain village, I saw a middle-aged man walking out. He had a sack on his shoulders, his clothes were patched, but he had a firm and satisfied smile on his face. That is the smile that belongs only to those who strive. This person is clearly Ming Tianbei. Following his shout, Shuiji, Shanming, and others suddenly appeared and gathered around. Dear demon commanders, we have something good today. Ming Tianbei opened the sack and saw that there were a lot of plums in it. Seeing those plums, a group of demon commanders were extremely happy. Everyone, Feel free to eat. The plums in the village are ripe and many have fallen on the ground. You can pick them up every day now and you can still eat them tomorrow. Ming Tianbei spoke. Hearing this, a group of demon commanders immediately started to eat. It was so delicious. After eating the plums, they began to divide various things. Give me these straw sandals, damn, I'm the slowest, none of you can compete with me. Shan Ming, you already have a scapegoat, and you still want to compete with me for this broken bowl. Where's your face? Xueji, it's useless even if you show off your excrement fork. You must give me these tattered trousers. All I have is my trousers. A group of people were fighting fiercely for it. Even when Xueji showed his dung fork, they didn't care. Seeing this scene, Wu Dade and others were used to it, but a group of ghosts were shocked. Those are the treasures they took out from the sacred forbidden area. That fruit, what kind of divine fruit is it? The divine power it contains is too terrifying. Those ripped trousers are like a supreme battle suit. They seem to be invulnerable to all kinds of evil. Goichi and the others' ghost eyes were full of envy. No. These people are demons. At this time, Tian and Ghost Lord's expression suddenly changed. Hearing these two words, the ghosts were shocked. The demons, haven't the demon world been destroyed by the divine realm a long time ago? There are no demons in the world. The demon world once ruled the ghost world and the demon world, but 1,000,000 years ago, it was massacred by the gods and the West Heaven Brahma section for millions of years. The demons had no way to escape from heaven to earth. They had already been slaughtered. 600,000 years ago, the last secret place of the demon clan was found and completely wiped out, marking the complete disappearance of the demon world from the 6 realms. They were all very solemn, thinking of old news and history. Originally, the demon world, one of the 6 realms in the underworld, was once extremely powerful and brilliant. In that era, the ghost world and the demon world even had to take orders from the demon world. However, in the end the divine realm and the West Heaven Brahma sect took action. In that war that lasted for hundreds of thousands of years, the demon world was directly and completely destroyed. People from the demon clan were constantly hunted and killed, and eventually this world completely disappeared. There are no more demons in the world. The 6 realms of the Yang world have long been transformed into 5 realms. But now, a group of demons actually appeared in front of us? Could it be said that this is the secret place of the demon clan? The existence here, is it a certain giant of the demon clan? The ghost master Tianan looked extremely solemn. Who in the sky and on earth dares to take in the demons? It will inevitably attract the wrath of the divine realm and the West Heaven Brahma sect. He couldn't help but ask Wu Dade and others, saying, "Several benefactors, dare I ask them, what is their origin?" He thinks this answer is very important. Wu Dade said. What an ignorant ghost. Didn't you see? He is a garbage collector in the village. A garbage collector in the village. A group of ghosts were stunned. People in this village call those supremely sacred things garbage. This is too much. It's a pity that I am a ghost, otherwise, I would also want to pick up garbage. Geiki's eyes turned red immediately. Tian and Ghost Lord was also heartbroken for a while. He felt that there was nothing we could do to talk about this. Just wait here. Wu Dade spoke. Immediately, the two of them dragged the mountain-like dragon into the village. When the villagers saw it, they were all surprised, which caused a heated discussion. Yo! Master, where did you get the big python? What big python? It's a big loach. Tisk, tisk, I've never seen such a thing before. It looks delicious. Uncle John was plowing the land. He stopped at this moment and came over and said, Dade, what is this? Wu Dade said. Uncle John, this is a big loach, please tell everyone that we are going to have a feast tonight. When Uncle John heard this, he became excited and said, "Have a good time, I will inform everyone immediately." He immediately drove the old scalper and the big black cow home. The news spread throughout the village instantly, and there was bursts of joy and laughter in the village. Not long after, Wu Dade and others finally arrived in front of Wu Erxianting. And at this moment, in the small courtyard, everything has returned to calm, and the aftermath of the strange spirit has passed. It's just a group of disciples who are still speculating and discussing. What exactly did Master do? Just wipe it with your hand. What kind of magical power is that? The strange spirit was suppressed. Li Fan, on the other hand, continued to play chess with Yun 11. He found that Yun 11 had a very high level of understanding. In addition to chess, he also learned backgammon very quickly. Outside, I'm afraid he is definitely at the Grandmaster level. It's so annoying, big devil, I lost again. Yun 11 spoke angrily. Li Fan petted the cat and said with a smile, "You have only studied for a few days, and you have already made great progress." At this time, King Chen's voice came from outside. "Master, we are back." Hearing this, Li Fan couldn't help but feel happy and said, "Come in." Immediately, Qing Chen and Wu Dade pushed open the door and walked in, followed by the big black dog. I originally planned to update it at 3 o'clock on the day after the college entrance examination, but I ended up working overtime until 10 o'clock, and now I'm still in the office. To the readers of the college entrance examination, I wish you the best as you enter a new stage. The road of life is long, walk slowly. If I could be reborn 6 years ago, and take the college entrance examination again, I might make a different choice, and I wouldn't be forced to work overtime today. Every choice you make in life determines your future, and you will suddenly realize it when you discover it. Happy everyone! You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 517. The door opened, and Wu Dade, Qing Chen and Big Black Dog all walked in. A group of disciples all stood up and walked over at this moment, all with curiosity, looking to see what rare plants they had found this time. How was the harvest? Li Fan also asked questions. I saw Wu Dade, holding a strange tree in his hand, stepping forward and saying, "Master, this is the rare plant I found. The name of this kind of tree is the molten gold tree. It is said that it is not planted with soil, but with various metals." Hearing this, a group of disciples were extremely surprised. "It looks like a mace, and it seems to have thorns. It doesn't look like a tree at all. It's as hard as divine gold and grows by swallowing metals from the world. It's really incredible. The molten gold ancestral tree. Junior Brother Dade's rare plants are so unique." Everyone spoke one after another, all with complicated expressions. Li Fan was also a little stunned. This thing is a rare plant? However, the crystal piece really shines. Really are. It does look quite rare. Swallowing metal, this plant seems to be very capable of decomposing it. Li Fan couldn't help but speak and said, "Yuking, go get that rotten iron sword and let the tree swallow it." He had never seen a tree that swallowed metal before, and he really wanted to see it. Hearing this, Dugu Yuking was startled. Master's rotten iron sword. Some time ago, when they came back from a fight, the master took out an iron sword and said he was going to sharpen it. That sword, Dugu Yuking just took a look at it, and was completely shocked. He didn't even dare to get close. It seemed to contain monstrous energy. Now, the master actually asked me to bring it, to be eaten by this tree. He looked complicated, but still walked into the master's study. Not long after, he came back with this iron sword. The iron sword was stained with rust. It looked like it had been corroded over time. There were many gaps on the blade. However, at this moment, the expressions of all the disciples changed drastically. This sword, just looking at it makes my eyes sting. Long Xuanhuan blinked hurriedly. It seems to contain unparalleled power. It's terrible. It's so powerful, if I wave this, I'm afraid it will destroy the world, right? Many disciples were extremely shocked. They were already familiar with everything in the small courtyard, but this sword shocked them all. The ones in Master's hands are indeed unparalleled weapons. The origin of this sword is too great to be imagined. Nanfan's beautiful eyes are complicated. Master, give it. At this moment, Duguyuking was already covered in sweat. Holding this sword in his hand, he felt that his whole body was under an unparalleled oppression. Every step is as heavy as Mount Tai. He vaguely felt that the fact that he could touch and pick it up was the result of the sword automatically condensing its energy. If it hadn't been for the master's order to get it by myself, I wouldn't have been able to get close even if I wanted to. This sword is extremely terrifying. Li Fan, on the other hand, picked up the rotten iron sword calmly. When I got it, this rotten iron sword had no feel at all. It was light and felt like a piece of scrap metal. He couldn't help complaining in his heart, damn, what kind of broken sword did the dog system give you? It's really useless to be able to get this kind of thing. A few days ago, he asked his disciples to go out to fight. He originally wanted to find it and sharpen it, but when he took it out, he found that there was no need to sharpen it. It was just a rotten sword. He didn't want to waste his efforts, so he kept throwing it in the corner of the study. Middle. I just used it to feed the trees today, so as not to get upset when I see it on weekdays. With that said, he immediately handed the broken sword to the molten gold tree. The gold melting tree, come on, try melting this. Li Fan spoke expectantly. However, the sword only approached slightly, and suddenly the sword, the molten gold tree like a mace in Wu Dade's hand, began to shake violently. Wu Dade's hands were shaking. At this moment, he was even more panicked. He felt as if an unparalleled sword intent enveloped his whole body, as if it was threatening him. This kind of sword intent seems to say, you try to devour one. Moreover, he was holding the molten gold ancestral tree, and he clearly felt that the tree in his hand seemed to be afraid. Master, this won't work, this won't work. Wu Dade broke out in a cold sweat. He hurriedly spoke. This tree can never swallow this sword. After he said this, he felt that the chilling sword intent suddenly became weaker. Has Brother Jian calmed down? Wu Dade also breathed a sigh of relief. Hearing this, Li Fan was puzzled, is this it? It also claims to be able to swallow metal? This tree's teeth are not good enough. This sword is so bad that it is almost rusty. It cannot be swallowed or bitten. It is probably even worse for other metals, and this tree is probably even worse. But, wouldn't it be impossible to keep this tree? Suddenly, he had an idea and said, how about, try pot ashes on this tree? Pot ash contains a very small amount of metal substances, and is soft and black. Maybe. Hearing this, Wu Dade suddenly felt excited about the molten gold ancestral tree in his hand, as if he liked it very much. Yes, Master, thank you. I'm going to get the pot ashes right now. He went directly to the kitchen, and after a while, he got a small handful of pitch black pot ashes from the iron pot. He fed the pot ashes to the molten gold tree, only to find that the molten gold ancestral tree ate so deliciously. The molten gold tree's whole body seemed to be trembling with excitement. As the pot ashes were eaten, the swollen thorn spores seemed to be growing thorns. Master, the pot ashes really work. Wu Dade ran out excitedly. When Li Fan heard this, he couldn't help but smile. He actually ate pot ashes, it was so strange. As long as you can keep it, that's fine. Well, Gong Ya, when you clean the pot in the future, the ashes will be kept by the great virtue. Li Fan spoke immediately. Hearing this, Gong Ya nodded and said, "Okay, master. By the way, junior brother Dade, did you encounter strange spirits when you went out this time?" At this time, Nanfan Xuanhuan asked. Wu Dade nodded and said, "Yes, almost overturned, the eternal ancient demon mist was born." He immediately told his senior brothers and sisters everything that happened in the Defu Star realm. Suddenly, everyone was shocked beyond measure. What, the strange spirit that has existed for eternity, is so terrifying? Duguyuking murmured. He had been in contact with strange spirits and knew how difficult they were. Both gods and ghosts must make changes. There is too much in the grey mists melted by the molten gold tree that has not been refined. If released, it would be enough to destroy the world. The existence above the divine realm takes action and reflects the heavens. What kind of state is this? Long Xuanhuan took a deep breath. There were too many masters in the divine realm. The key is, that kind of character can't be suppressed even if he takes action, and is broken by the weird spirit. Nanfan felt a little complicated. Now it seemed that the master was very likely to be more powerful than the big shots in God's domain. I just said that the master must have used some great magical power. It was so powerful. With a touch of his hand, all the strange spirits disappeared. Zi Ling was very excited. But at this moment, the little white cat jumped out of Li Fan's arms and came to the side of the big black dog, stretching out its little paws as if asking for something. The big black dog waggled its tail hurriedly and started barking outside. "Yes, master." At this time, Qing Chen said happily. "We went out this time and found a lot of prey. The meat is so delicious, we can have a dinner tonight." Li Fan was overjoyed when he heard this and said, "Okay, I'll go out and have a look as a teacher." Immediately, he took Yongzi, Xining, etc., as well as a group of disciples, out of the small courtyard. Outside the small courtyard, I saw a small mountain of prey, piled up one after another, one piece weighing dozens or hundreds of kilograms. "Is this a big loach?" Li Fan was a little unsure. This thing had never been seen before. "Can it be eaten?" Wu Dade said. "Master, the big loach will be delicious on the barbecue." "Master, Uncle John and the others are ready. Let's go over quickly." Li Fan also smiled and immediately didn't care about the many things. Having meat to eat is a good thing. It's been a long time since there was a banquet in the village. Let's go, eat enough tonight. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 518. At this moment, in the cold universe, the bloody river passed through the sky, overwhelming the sky and the earth, rolling with death and resentment. This scene is extremely amazing. From a distance, it looks like a river, but if you get closer, you will find that it can no longer be described as a long river, it is simply a vast ocean of blood. Hundreds of worlds and the blood of billions of creatures gather here. At this moment, in the river of blood, there are two huge ghost faces, which seem to be laughing and ferocious. The energy of death is boiling, the resentment is doubling, and there is a strange origin from the netherworld, dominating the entire bloody ocean. The death aura, the resentment, are already intertwined with the endless source of the netherworld. No matter what kind of creature it is, as long as it is contaminated, it will be assimilated, lose itself, and become a slave of the netherworld. Dao Tao Blood River, this is the feast I bestow upon Tianan. On the desolate floating soil of the universe, Lord Xingluo looked at the river of blood approaching the great ruined star wheel, with a smile on his lips. He is ready. When the Sky Dark Ghost Lord swallows the death energy, he will inevitably be infected by the origin of the blood demon, and he will take crazy action to destroy everything. At that time, he will appear with the divine light and fight for this universe until the last moment. Endless blessings and light rain will pour out for him between heaven and earth, allowing him to take that step, gain the recognition of heaven and earth, and obtain the Tao and fruit of the God King. All the wonderful futures are already in front of us. Huh? No, Lord God, why did the direction of the blood river change? Suddenly, Chang Tianchen spoke in surprise. In everyone's sight, the blood river that was originally heading towards the Great Ruins realm actually changed its direction. Flooded into another star wheel along the way. What do these two blood monsters mean? Do you dare to disobey your orders? The demon clan cannot be trusted, and the blood demons are even less trustworthy. Don't make any problems. Many gods looked solemn. Lord Xingluo's face also darkened. According to the plan, these two blood monsters should directly control the blood river and rush towards the Great Ruins star wheel. Now it's off track. It's impossible. As long as my brother is here, these two blood monsters won't dare to cause trouble. Lord Xingluo decided to wait and see. And at this moment, in the void of the universe, the turbulent river of blood was heading towards a star wheel, the Taiguang star wheel. The bloody world is the most beautiful, destroy everything. The bloody and crazy voice sounded. Swallow all the lifeblood of this star wheel. Xuanhuan also spoke. Under the leadership of the two blood demons, the blood river suddenly condensed and formed a bloody mouth. This bloody mouth was full of blood. From a distance, it looked as big as a star. With a big bloody mouth, he sucked it towards Taiguang star chakra. Suddenly, the endless evil spirit and resentment became violent. These two blood demons have reached the level of half-step demon masters, and with the help of an entire star wheel's death energy and blood energy, their power is extremely vast, far exceeding the combined strength of the 8 great gods. In the Taiguang star wheel, hundreds of worlds are wailing. In those hundreds of worlds, the blood of countless creatures was drawn out at this moment, forming a blood river in the sky, and then rushed out of the world, converging towards the bloody mouth in the universe. That huge bloody mouth swallowed the blood of an entire star wheel. In an instant, the bloody mouth doubled in size. Keep going, the taste of blood is indeed wonderful. Xuanhuan let out a satisfied laugh. Haha, these star wheels will all be part of the demon world in the future, clearing the area in advance is also a good thing. Xuanhuan spoke coldly. They continued to move forward, riding the blood-red ocean that doubled in size. On the way, they directly swallowed the blood of 2 star wheels. In 4 of the 9 star wheels, all living beings were destroyed. The bloody ocean finally approached the outside of the Great Ruins. The universe is floating on the earth. As expected of a blood demon, cruel and murderous, he actually destroyed 3 star chakras in a row. These monsters really deserve to be killed. You can't stay. Many gods were a little frightened when they saw this scene. Even though the life and death of the creatures in the lower world were not important to them, the blood demon's cruelty still exceeded their imagination. The more so, the better. Lord Xingluo's eyes were filled with satisfaction. How cruel and murderous will the Sky Dark Ghost Lord become when he absorbs the death energy? The greater the threat the Sky Dark Ghost Lord poses to the universe, the higher the chance of his ritual being successful. You must know that Star Wheel Crying is his elder brother's enlightenment ceremony, and each ceremony can only be used 3 times. And every time you want to succeed, it will be harder than the last time. So this time, the Sky Dark Ghost Lord must be even more brutal and powerful. To do that, the bloody river has slowly approached the Great Ruins realm. Brother, the amount of blood and death energy that you and I can control has almost reached its limit. The blood turned into a grimace and he spoke. Haha, continue to destroy the world in front of you. Xuanhuan spoke coldly. He looked back and looked somewhere in the universe. These hypocrites from the God realm want to take advantage of us, but they don't know that they are just making wedding clothes for our demon clan. This place will become a fertile ground for the demon world to make a comeback. The river of netherworld blood will flow forever in this universe. His blood-red eyes shone with greed and fanaticism. The Star Destroyer God Lord thought that Xuanhuan and Xueqin had become his slaves, but Xueqin and Xuanhuan had never forgotten that they had taken refuge in the Star Destroyer God Lord from the beginning. Just for the demon clan. It can be said that they are undercover agents sent by the demon clan. In order to gain the trust of Star Destroyer God Lord, they even sacrificed 1 or 2 secret realms of the demon clan. The demon world has been destroyed, and thousands of demon clans have been displaced. We are in urgent need of a world that belongs to us and rebuild the demon land. We, the Blood Demon clan, should hold up this banner. Xuanhuan opened his mouth and immediately shouted towards the star wheel in front of him, "Go, bring the sea of blood into the star wheel. Let the gods and ghosts fight to their heart's content, and we demon clan, will benefit from this war." The long river of blood is like an endless dark red curtain that is about to completely cover the Great Ruins realm. And at this moment, at the boundary wall of the Great Ruins, 2 middle-aged men were observing the movement outside the Great Ruins. They suddenly saw the Dao Tao blood river rushing towards them, and they were shocked. What it is? Why do I feel, just looking at it makes people shudder, /. Both of them were very surprised. No. Such a change must be reported to the Queen immediately. They spoke hastily. Ever since the Star Boundary Alliance attacked the Great Ruins realm, Xuanhuan and others have begun to guard against enemies from the void of the universe. So a distant sentry was arranged. At this moment, both of them hurried towards Donghuang. The Muling dynasty. You are all the most elite people in the Great Ruins realm. You have gone through layers of selection to get here. From today on, you must always remember that the Lord of the Wild Sky is the God we all respect. Xuanhuan was sitting on the throne, and there were a group of strong men standing in the main hall. They are all the remaining elites and geniuses in the Great Ruins realm, totaling 600 people. She directly joined forces with the Yun family, integrated the entire Great Ruins world, and prepared to create an elite division. This elite division is commanded by Munanshan, a strong man from Muling village. Elder Zhenkong, give them divine rice. Xuanhuan opened her mouth, and Mu Zhenkong immediately gave each of these people a grain of rice. Everyone was shocked when they got the rice. What kind of rice is this? It actually contains such vast sacred power. Is this prepared for the gods? How could ants like us actually have a chance to get it? I understand, this is a gift from the Lord of Desolate Heaven. Everyone was extremely excited. Xuanhuan also had a glimmer of expectation in her beautiful eyes. Today's Great Ruins realm, after becoming the seat of the everlasting realm, has gained the power of hundreds of realms. The divine aura between heaven and earth is extremely rich, and the upper limit has been raised. Even breakthroughs are easier than ever. Just a few days ago, she and several powerful men in the dynasty, such as Mu Rantian and Mu Zhenkong, had become wandering gods. And each of the 600 people in front of them got a grain of rice. I believe that it won't be long before their strength will increase by leaps and bounds. Report. At this time, a loud shout came. There is something strange happening outside the Great Ruins. A bloody ocean, mixed with endless death energy and resentment, is approaching the Great Ruins realm. The spies are reporting. Hearing this, Xuanhuan's expression changed. Invite Master Yun Yinshan immediately. I want to discuss this with him. Not long after, Yun Yinshan and Yun Qianshan had arrived. After the last battle, the Yun family in Zhongzhou simply moved their headquarters to Donghuang, so it was very close. They also got the message. Master Yun, what do you think about this matter? Xuanhuan asked. Hearing this, Yun Yinshan looked extremely solemn and said. Based on the information from the spies, The one attacking this time is most likely the legendary Blood Demon. Blood Demons are the most difficult clan among the Demon Clan. Legend has it that they were born from the Nether Blood River, contain the origin of the Netherworld, and also possess certain characteristics of ghosts, and are called Blood Demon Ghosts. During the war between demons and gods, the demon world was destroyed, and the blood rivers of this clan disappeared. Unexpectedly, they appeared in the lower realm. He was worried and said, "Based on my judgment, if they can form such a terrifying river of blood in the void of the universe, I'm afraid, several star wheels have already been destroyed by them. Besides, there is probably a bigger push behind these blood demons. I'm afraid I'll have to trouble Senior Li and others about this matter." Hearing this, Xuanhuan also nodded and said, "Okay, let's go see Senior Li together. Brother Meng, is there any way to get rich suddenly? Please introduce me. I can't stand it anymore. I work overtime every day. I work overtime until I vomit blood and my head is about to explode. I want to slap my resignation letter on the faces of those idiot leaders. The life of a social animal is really difficult. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert." Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 519. Night falls. In a small mountain village. The excitement was at its peak tonight. Every household, men, women, old and young, gathered in the open space of the village. The children were playing loudly, the men were sharpening their knives and starting to butcher the giant loaches, the women were choosing vegetables and peeling onions, the bonfire was already burning, and the water in the big iron pot was already boiling. There are so many big loaches, enough to feed them for 3 months. The second uncle lived on crutches, looking at everyone busy, his eyes were filled with relief. After all, the village is miserable. Everyone is a farmer, and they can only eat meat during the holidays. In the past 2 years, it felt like someone was delivering goods. From time to time, a lot of game would come, which would make everyone enjoy themselves. Li Fan also rolled up his sleeves and took matters into his own hands, currently frying loach meat. "Master, is the loach delicious?" Ling opened her eyes wide and looked at the master stir-frying with some curiosity. "You'll know after eating it." Li Fan smiled slightly. "But the big devil, will it taste fishy?" Yongzi also opened his mouth, but the loach had an earthy smell. Li Fan smiled and said, "Don't worry, you can eat it, there will be no fishy smell." He is still very confident in his cooking skills. He has already mastered all the cooking methods taught by the system, and removing the fishy smell is nothing more than a minor skill. "Gong Yat, come here, hold this loach and I'll teach you how to do it." Li Fan spoke to Gong Yat at the same time. The book currently given to Gong Yat did not cover how to get loaches, so he had to teach him himself. "Hold your hands tightly, up and down, in a circular motion, and let the loach spit out the contents in its stomach, so that it won't have a fishy smell when you eat it." Hearing this, Gong Ya was thoughtful and followed the instructions nervously. Li Fan nodded and continued cooking. "This loach is big enough. The loach tentacles are almost as big as the squid tentacles. Well, it can be used as squid tentacles." Li Fan thought about it, and immediately cut off the dragon's beards one by one, put them into skewers, served them with chili peppers, etc., and began to stir-fry them. The fragrance suddenly hits your nose. "It smells so good, the devil, I want to eat this." Yongzi's eyes glowed. "Master, I want it too." Ling also spoke expectantly. Li Fan smiled and handed the fried dragon whiskers to them. Immediately, they all rushed to eat and devoured it. It was so delicious. "It's so delicious. Stir-fried loach whiskers. Master, I want to eat it again." "The big devil, it's really not fishy at all, I want it too." "Master, I want to save the fried loach." A group of disciples all spoke one after another. On the table, let's get started. At this time, Uncle Zhang was already shouting loudly. For a time, men, women, old and young were all sitting around a table. Barbecued, stewed, steamed, braised, all kinds of dragon food were served, and it was very lively. And at this moment, outside the small mountain village, Yun Yinchan, Yun Qianshan, Mu Wanqing, Mu Rantian, and others finally arrived. They all had a slightly solemn look on their faces. Huh? What is this noise in the village? It seems to be very lively. Mu Wanqing was a little confused. They entered immediately, and not long after, they saw an extremely lively scene. It was like a banquet in the village, with tables full of people, men, women, old and young, laughing and chatting happily. There's meat in the pot, on the grill, on the cutting board, it's all there. What's going on? Mu Wanqing couldn't help being stunned. No. That meat, why do I feel like that meat is like extremely powerful demon meat? Yun Yinchan's expression changed. Suddenly, he saw a lot of pale golden scales in the garbage heap. Dragon's reverse scale. He was shocked and said. One of the major clans in the demon world, the Dragon Demon Clan. The village treats the Dragon Monster Clan as prey. He was simply shocked. At a glance, the meat was piled into a mountain. How many Dragon Monster clans have been killed? Moreover, the chi of some of the meat strips is extremely powerful, and seems to surpass the level of the heavenly demon. At this moment, he simply felt numb. The demon lord, that exists side by side with the divine lord. In the demon world, they are definitely famous people. As a result, it was served on the table today. Moreover, the demon lord level dragon reverse scale is a very precious material even in the divine realm. Just throw it away like garbage. Yun Qianshan and others were shocked when they heard this. Isn't this girl Wanqing? At this time, Uncle Zhao Er spoke and walked over with a smile. Second uncle. Mu Wanqing opened her mouth and said, We come to find Senior Li. After hearing this, Uncle Zhao Er said. Senior Li? Oh, you mean Xiao Li. Why do you young people like to call him Senior Xiao Li? There used to be two girls named Huo Linger and Mu Jianing, and they also like to call him Senior. It's been a long time since I came to the village for dinner, let's go, I'll take you go see Xiao Li. The second uncle immediately took them over and said. Xiao Li, these people are looking for you. Li Fan was stir-frying the last pot of stir-fried dragon beard. When he looked up, he saw Yun Yinchan, Mu Wanqing, and others, and he was immediately delighted. Senior Yun, Miss Mu, you came just in time. We caught some loaches in the village. Let's sit down and eat together. He spoke immediately. Hearing this, Yun Yinchan and others all looked complicated. Loach. You call a dragon a loach? Yun Yinchan felt that his heart was a bit stuffed. The giant clan among the majestic monsters. However, considering that Senior Li is a being who can suppress even disasters and grey mist, in his eyes, dragons are like loaches, there seems to be nothing wrong with him. Grandpa, Daddy, sit down quickly, Li Fan's cooking is so delicious, ugh. At this moment, Yun 11 was eating dragon beard skewers and happily spoke to Yun Qianshan and Yun Yinchan. Yun Qianshan and the others looked at each other. At this moment, they all understood. Senior Li doesn't care at all about the blood monsters outside the territory. After all, even the demon lord level seniors of the dragon demon clan, Senior Li, were treated like loaches. This clearly shows that the demon clan is not taken seriously. No matter, now that you're here, just enjoy your meal in peace. Yun Yinchan simply didn't care. A group of people immediately sat down, looking at the various kinds of dragon meat cooked on the table, and they were immediately greeting. This is really good stuff, it's hard to taste in this world. The stewed loach melts in your mouth. It's delicious. It's delicious. Even Uncle Zhao started eating it. The meat was stewed so badly that even old people like them could eat it. Tisk, this soup is really fresh, this loach is really good. Mom, I want to eat my tail, bite my tail. Stir-fried dragon beard, Xiao Li's dish is really good. Everyone opened their bellies. On the other side, even Ming Tianbei and others were called over and sat around, eating meat and drinking soup. Soon, as night fell, bonfires were everywhere in the village. Men, women, old and young, all sat together, chatting about home affairs, drinking and talking, and the harmony was extremely harmonious. Big Demon King, I want to drink. Sitting around the campfire, with golden loach meat roasting on the fire, Yun 11 spoke. Hearing this, Li Fan also smiled and said, "Good. Lu Rang, Dade, go and dig out some of the 3-year-old wine that you buried for me." Li Fan spoke directly. This is the first banquet party in the village since coming to the earth. It's time to celebrate and drink some good wine. Hearing this, a group of disciples were extremely happy. They all know that master's drinks are all treasures. Soon, Lu Rang and Wu Dade had returned with more than a dozen jars of wine. Xiao Li's third-year wine? This is really good stuff. Uncle Zhao suddenly became greedy for wine. A group of disciples were looking forward to it even more. Share it for everyone. Li Fan smiled and spoke. Immediately, a group of disciples came forward and started pouring wine for everyone. As soon as I opened the wine seal, the aroma of the wine was already spreading out. What is this smell? For a moment, the sacred aura around me seemed to be 100 times stronger. What kind of wine is this? I have never seen it before in the world. Yun Yinchan and others all looked shocked. Wow, the aroma of this wine, just one sip of it makes people almost fall into the realm of forgetfulness. Nanfan's beautiful eyes lit up. The aroma is more intense than 2 years old, it must taste great. Zi Ling couldn't wait any longer. Soon, everyone poured the wine and began to taste it. Nanfan picked up the drink and took a sip. The cold wine feels extremely refreshing in the mouth, but it is hot when it enters the throat. When refined into the body, it is like the mist of the gods, moisturizing the whole body, and seems to make every cell explode. The aroma of wine is strong and refreshing, like the clear stream of red dust. If you forget about dust, you might as well get drunk. Nanfeng only drank half a bowl, and she already felt infected. At this moment, she forgot everything and me, and entered a wonderful state while drunk. Her eyes were a little blurry. At this moment, she seemed to see a little girl falling from her mother's womb, croaking and screaming, then babbling and toddling. She grew up carefree, but ended up in the world of mortals. Forgot the initial happiness. Once upon a time, I looked up to immortality, cultivated immortality, and became a saint, embarked on the path of the gods. In my seemingly peaceful heart, there was a kind of utilitarianism, desires. Who can recognize his own heart? I originally thought that by nourishing my heart with the piano, I had already given up all my thoughts. It turns out that I still have not transcended, but have deviated from my true self. My true self is like a baby, without desires or demands, innocent and innocent. This is the real me. At this moment, the sacred aura all over her body suddenly transformed into a little girl, sitting cross-legged in her danchan. That's her true self. At this moment, she quietly crossed a threshold and became a true god. The true god level aura was released, and everyone around him was instantly shocked. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 520. Sister Nanfan has broken through to the level of a true god. It's so awesome, what kind of wine is this? No, I want to give it a try quickly. For a time, a group of disciples hurriedly started trying. It's so messy, so messy. Zi Ling was already drunk, and her big eyes were a little hazy, and she could only feel that the scenes in front of her were confusing light and shadow. My eyes must be dazzled, why do the second uncle, Uncle Zhang, and others, seem to be shrouded in white mist, with light emitting? She rubbed her eyes, feeling that everything in front of her seemed to have become unreal, with too much light and fog surging. She looked at her brothers and sisters, but she felt that they all seemed to have become strangers. Dugu Yuking is like a lonely swordsman in ancient times. He has been fighting for 3,000 years, and his sword stands above all the worlds. Senior sister Nanfan is like a relegated immortal who is independent from the world, sitting upright 9 days away, the sound of the piano washes the universe. Wu Dade became like an immortal mountain, standing before thousands of tribulations, with his body blocking disasters. I have seen falsehood, but I have also seen truth. What is false, what is true? Zi Ling was confused, and she suddenly looked at her master. Amidst the thousands of lights and shadows, she saw that Li Fan was still like a mortal, with a smile on his lips, which seemed to have never changed. The entire village and everyone seemed to be like the lights and shadows rotating around him, and they did not seem to exist. Where the master is, the truth is there. The corner of her mouth suddenly showed a hint of happiness, and stars seemed to flash in her eyes. She picked up her pen and wanted to portray the master. When her pen fell, no trace of ink was visible at all. Wherever the pen touched, the rice paper evaporated. But she didn't realize it because she had already finished the painting in her mind. She fell asleep with a sweet smile on her lips, exuding the aura of a true god. In her dantian, no true self was condensed. Just an empty piece. This drink contains mysterious substances that can lead to enlightenment. Xuanhuan drank a bowl of wine. At this moment, the wine seemed to turn into a dragon, swimming in his body. He saw the me of yesterday, who was once the prince of a small dynasty in Xiantian realm of the underworld and was suppressed. Along the way, he saw my perseverance. The strong are unyielding, the dragon is boundless. I, Xuanhuan, will be the dragon master in the 9 heavens in this life. His fighting spirit was concentrated, and at this moment, his dragon fighting technique took a step further. At the same time, in his dantian, the spirit of his true self was flying on the dragon. True God. Am I really drunk? How do I feel? You died and died again, as if you had been thousands of lives in the past. Lu Rang was holding a pot of grass, his eyes were filled with drunkenness. He felt as if he could see the pot of grass in his hand, which had flourished and withered for hundreds of epochs, with death and rebirth constantly alternating, and even nirvana in the grey mist. Is life and death the normal state? You have lived from the end of time and space to the underworld and into this world. He talked nonsense and slept soundly with the grass in his arms. In his dantian, there was a grass that had been reincarnated for eternity. But ask my heart, one sword can control ups and downs, one sword can open the world. When Dugu Yuking was drunk, he lit up the lamp and looked at the sword. He dreamed back to the strange and catastrophic era. There was a sword that once opened the sky, and there was a sword that wiped out all the evil spirits. Never forget. The inexplicable sword intention came from his heart, and his sword skills improved to a higher level. An unparalleled divine sword floated in his dantian. The Suzaku sword, although it has been broken into pieces, it will always be in my heart. He murmured, and at this moment, he realized a lot. Killing, why is killing hidden in my heart? Qing Chen was asking about his heart. At this moment, the wine evoked his old memories. He saw a monk in white clothes, like a Shura coming from hell, covered in blood. Behind him, endless Buddhist gates turned into withered bones. Thousands of gods and Buddhas were destroyed. Am I a person who cultivates Buddhism, or a person who destroys Buddhism? At this moment, Qing Chen was suddenly confused. Did he once destroy all the Buddhas in the world? No reason. No, that's not right, I am not practicing Buddhism. It's compassion, it's salvation, it's the other shore. If the Buddha is there, I can practice Buddhahood. If the Buddha is not there, I should destroy the Buddha. I cultivate my master. He knows what is right. In the Danshan, there seemed to be an astonishing monk who opened his eyes. There is great compassion in his eyes, but there is also murderous intent. Pure dust, enlightenment to the true Buddha. Where am I? Zhang Li traveled to the outer world, and he saw that all realms were surrendered, the universe was vast, and the heaven and earth were vast. However, there is no branch to rely on, as if facing the vast ocean, he is swallowed up by his own sense of insignificance. No. My lord, the way of chess, the vastness of the world, is just a chessboard. Swallowing heaven and earth, the universe is the seed. He shouted in a low voice. In his Danshan, a cosmic seed took shape, like a chessboard. It itches me to death. Wu Dade felt itchy all over. He held the molten gold tree like a mace and hammered himself with the stick one after another. The molten gold tree was so hard that it shattered many of his bones. However, he only felt happy, and after those bones were smashed by the hammer, new bones grew under the influence of wine, which were far more perfect than before. I understand, many of my bones have grown crooked. Wu Dade muttered and hammered himself hard. Soon, invisible golden light emitted from his body, and the 9-turn golden body completed its 4th turn. Prove the true God. On the other side, Lin Zhuchen seemed to be petrified at this moment, staring blankly at the book in his hand, turning the pages over and over again. In this drunken state, he actually felt as if he had divine help. He instantly understood the various heavenly talismans in the book. In his Danshan, a brand was quietly formed. It was the word edict, as if the power of endless runes had been condensed. Heavenly Talisman Seal. Lin Zhuchen murmured that this was the divine seal of the heavenly talisman, condensed out, which meant that he could mobilize the power of heaven and earth by raising his hand without using any talisman. He had a feeling that he could flick the thunder from the sky. In fact, his realm has soared, not only breaking through to the realm of true gods, but also soaring close to the gods. The heavenly master is unique and different, it all depends on enlightenment. The divine seal of the heavenly talisman condensed by the true God is only the starting point of the heavenly talisman. According to the book, if you want to cultivate to perfection, you must engrave the patterns of the 9 places of creation. He already has a direction. The original Creation Sutra records that all terrains in heaven and earth are actually a kind of natural talisman, and there are 9 special creation terrains. Each time one is collected, the strength of the celestial master will soar. I'm so hot. Junior sister Subakian felt hot all over her body at the moment. After drinking the drink, she was sweating all over and her face was flushed. The powerful alcohol directly forcibly enhanced her strength to the realm of true gods. The spirit of the true self condensed in her Danshan is a magical medicinal seed. The divine medicinal seed is wrapped in the black and yellow qi, which is extremely mysterious. Xian Ning and Gongya have also entered the realm of true gods. In fact, inhaling the wind and drinking the dew every day in the small courtyard is considered sacred, and everyone's realm increases rapidly. Since the last battle, he broke through to the realm of the wandering god. In just a few days, he has reached the peak of the wandering god. Now he can cross that threshold with just one enlightenment. A bowl of wine is like a baptism of the divine way, it doesn't even require a divine gift. Yun Yinshan was shaking a little while holding the drink in his hand. You must know that if you want to enter the realm of true gods, even in the realm of gods, you need God's gift. It takes a higher level God to bestow divinity in order for the wandering God to break through his own limitations. Those who can do it without God's gift, throughout the ages, they have been unparalleled talents. Those kind of characters have great backgrounds in legends and are favored by heaven and earth. Now, Senior Li's group of disciples are all like this. He took a deep breath and took a solemn sip of the wine in his hand. The drink poured into his stomach. His breath suddenly surged. At this moment, 3,000 avenues appeared before his eyes. There are many avenues to choose from. He was stunned. According to the records, even if the wandering God receives a divine gift, he can often only see one path, and no more than 3 at most. But now, you can choose the 3,000 avenues, and the divine path is right in front of you. I need to become stronger, only in this way can I fight God's domain again and take back everything. Yunyinchen shouted, and he combined the 3,000 avenues into one. Under the influence of wine, he gradually succeeded and condensed his own Tao. In his Danshan, there is a spirit of his true self that is exactly the same as him, which is very mysterious. I succeeded, smelting the 3,000 avenues. Yunyinchen was extremely excited. Even in the entire God's domain, this has definitely never been done by anyone. Now I actually. At this moment, he couldn't help but look at Li Fan, with a hint of reverence in his eyes. All of this is a gift from Senior Li. At the same time, he couldn't help but look at Nanfan and others. He was able to smell 3,000 Tao just by chance. What kind of heaven-defying Tao should Senior Li's disciples be cultivating? Mu Wanqing, Yun Qianshan, etc. also benefited a lot and received profound blessings. And at this moment, outside the small mountain village, a group of ghosts are waiting silently. Sir, why hasn't the tooth extraction monster come yet? The starving ghosts were a little anxious. He has made up his mind that this time he must ask the tooth extraction monster to write a letter to him. Otherwise, it would be a huge loss, blood loss. Just wait. The ghost master Tianan was also full of expectations, but he still endured and said. Listening to this sound, the benefactors are probably having a meal. The thought of the dragon clan being treated as prey, even though he was a ghost, felt a bit outrageous. Fortunately, I am a ghost. If I were a monster, I might not have faced the tooth extraction monster, I might have been eaten. Thinking of this, he felt happy. Wrong. Suddenly, he suddenly looked back and looked outside the great ruins realm. The light in his ghost eyes was like 2 beams of starlight, and he directly saw the scene outside the great ruins. The boundless river of blood and overwhelming death energy are approaching the great ruins realm. Moreover, there is still an inexplicable aura of origin. No. How can there be such vast death energy in this universe? The Tianan ghost lord's expression turned stern. Only in a ghost world would it be possible to form this level of death energy. His heart suddenly sank, he felt the smell of conspiracy. Someone is targeting him. If this death energy approaches the Degzu star wheel, the entire star wheel will be destroyed. A light of determination shot out from the ghost eyes of the ghost lord of heaven, and said, "You guys wait here, I'll go out." After saying that, he disappeared from the spot. He is extremely fast and appears in the universe. Tianan is here and wants to target me. Why do he need to do something to exterminate hundreds of millions of living beings? Let's fight. He roared towards the surging river of blood. I urgently returned to work and worked overtime. I was afraid that I would forget it later, so I updated it in advance. It's raining heavily. I hope you'll be safe tonight and help someone fight against the disaster. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 521. Small Village. The wine helped people cheer, and the place became more lively. Xiao Bei, when the second uncle was young, he was not as good as you. The second uncle, Ming Tianbei, and others gathered around, drinking and sighing. Second uncle has been watching you for a long time. You are all good boys. You can't waste your life. In the eyes of the second uncle, although Ming Tianbei and others have no ambitions and spend all day picking up rubbish in the village, they still show their style in picking up rubbish. Don't steal or rob, work conscientiously, get up early and stay late, and never complain. What a really good young man. The more this happened, the more he couldn't bear to watch Ming Tianbei and others waste their lives, and said, "A grown man must have the world in mind and conquer the country, you know. You are outside, so why worry about not being able to create a piece of the sky?" Hearing this, Ming Tianbei and others all looked shocked. Second uncle, what you want, is for us to make contributions. With the world in mind, in this world, we should build a demonic land. The second uncle is telling us that we need to expand territory for the village. A group of demon commanders suddenly realized. Come, second uncle, let's have a drink with you. The second uncle opened his mouth and everyone started drinking. Before long, Ming Tianbei and a group of demon commanders were already drunk. What a great group of kids. The second uncle smiled and put the empty wine jar in Ming Tianbei's arms. He knew that Ming Tianbei liked this. Drinking and drinking, you come and I go, guessing and shouting orders. Li Fan is also quite satisfied. The third-year wine tastes much better. The little kitten also drank a lot of wine. Li Fan was afraid that the wine would be too strong, so he dipped his fingers into the wine and let her lick it little by little. At this moment, she was drunk in his arms, but she held his arms with her pink little paws. Arms, sleeping soundly. All the disciples were already drunk. Ah, this wine is a bit spicy, but the more I drink, the more I want to drink. Yun 11 took a sip, and his face turned red immediately. He slapped Cherry's mouth with his slender hand, and couldn't help but continue drinking. After finishing a bowl of wine, she felt a little confused and muttered. Li Fan, I want to drink, come on, let's do it. She held an empty wine bowl and toasted to Li Fan naively. Li Fan was afraid that she would fall, so he gently supported her slender waist with his hands. It was a cold night and everyone was ready to rest. Looking at the drunken disciples on the ground, Li Fan sighed. Sigh, the drinking capacity of these disciples is really bad. He had no choice but to carry Nan Feng, Gong Ya and others back to the small courtyard one by one and put them on the bed. Girl Bai Qian, she doesn't wear her clothes properly. She won't be well if she catches a cold. Subakian's clothes were a little messy because her whole body was hot when she broke through. They were happy together, so Li Fan took off his coat, wrapped her up, and then picked her up. Zi Ling was already asleep and didn't know what she was dreaming about. When Li Fan picked her up, she subconsciously reached out and hugged her master gently, with a sweet smile hanging on her lips. Li Fan covered her with a quilt and then returned to the bonfire. At this moment, Yongzi was trying her best to help drag people. While she was dragging Wu Dade, she said, "Big Demon King, Wu Dade is too heavy, I can't drag him. Yes, Dehei, help me quickly." The big black dog was also biting Wu Dade's hand and dragging it towards the courtyard. Li Fan felt confused and hurriedly stepped forward to help drag the male disciples back to the room. Soon, everything was finally cleaned up. Li Fan, I really like the village, I really like the bonfire party, and I really like eating meat together. Yongzi was extremely happy. This was her first time to participate in a gathering in the village. The unique atmosphere made her feel extremely warm. It seems like there are no more worries in the world. Li Fan, I'll dance for you. She was a little drunk, but she was dancing gracefully at the moment. Under the moonlit night, in the small courtyard, the silver moonlight shone on her graceful figure, dancing in a white dress. Her dancing posture was peerless and charming. At this moment, She spoke from the bottom of her heart, as if she was dancing subconsciously, and it was extremely beautiful. Even as she danced, the chi of the heaven and earth avenue in this small courtyard seemed to be moving along with it. The breeze blows slowly, and the moonlight is like silver. In the corner, the unicorn tree grew vigorously. In the soil where the original divine grape seeds were buried, a bud slowly poked its head out, and the divine blood grass flashed with light. It's like they all received some kind of call. Li Fan looked at Yungzi dancing and felt that there was a thrilling beauty. Finally, Yungzi finished dancing. Her beautiful face was flushed. She seemed to be too tired and almost fell down. Li Fan stepped forward in time and gently supported her. Yun 11 smiled and said, "The great demon king, does he look good?" After saying that, she fell into Li Fan's arms, completely drunk. Li Fan gently hugged Yun 11's shoulders, and suddenly a different kind of emotion flowed through him, and he murmured in a low voice, "Exceptionally beautiful." He sent Yun 11 back to the room and covered her with a quilt. Looking at Yun 11 sleeping soundly, he couldn't help but reach out and gently scratched Yun 11's nose and said, "Sleep tight." Then, he went out and sat quietly in the small courtyard for a long time. "When will the bright moon come?" asked the blue sky for wine. "I want to know the palace in the sky. What year is it tonight? I want to ride the wind back home, but I'm afraid it's too cold in the high places." Dancing clear shadow, like in the world. Yungzi's dance was still in his mind, and he couldn't help but recite it. At this moment, sitting alone on a moonlit night, with the surrounding silence, he felt an inexplicable sense of sadness in his heart. It seemed that the more he recalled Yungzi's dance, the more uncontrollable the sadness in his heart became. Live. Turn around the zoo pavilion and look down at the Kihu. The light will make you sleepless. There shouldn't be any hatred, why should we say goodbye? People have joys and sorrows, separations and reunions, and the moon waxes and wanes. This is a difficult thing in ancient times. Nung, moon, and new moon. He raised his glass and worshipped the bright moon alone. After the banquet dispersed, a rather deserted atmosphere filled the air. The wind blew by, and an inexplicable feeling of loneliness arose spontaneously. After a long time, Li Fan finally got up and left. The small courtyard was as quiet as death. With one dance, all souls come to life. The peach tree whispered and murmured. After all these eternities, I saw this dance again. It was as stunning as hers, but I didn't stop it. The chickens were silent, and the old hen slowly raised her head and said, "No one can suppress it, no one can escape, not even the master." The old hen sighed slowly and said, "I used to worry that my master would be too addicted to today's life, but now, I just hope that he can enjoy this kind of time for a while longer." Just now when the master recited it, I realized that he has never forgotten everything and has many knots in his heart. It's too cold at high places, the master has endured too much. In the small courtyard, many sacred creatures fell into a certain kind of silence. I hope that people will live long and share the beauty of the moon thousands of miles away. The only thing the owner can rely on in this life is the bright moon. How sad. Dosha couldn't help but speak. Just now the master recited it casually, but they clearly saw the eternal compassion. Yungzi, is it really her? At this time, a dragon shadow suddenly came out of the pond and said, "In the past, she shone for eternity and amazed the world. She killed people from past to present with just a raise of her hand." There seemed to be a hint of awe in the words of the real dragon. Yes, she once shook the world, stood up to all calamities, and left only her figure to the common people. Now all she has left is her innocence. Is this still her? The old hen also murmured. The branches of the peach tree drooped lightly, as if sighing infinitely, and said quietly, "But still remember what she said when she went to ward off all calamities after the master left. If there is an afterlife, I only want to stay with my master and be a heartless little girl. The wind blew slowly. I don't know when the next chapter will be released today. Don't wait. This chapter was written by me squatting on the toilet and grabbing time in the car. Either this month or next month, I quit. That's it, I've really been on the verge of sudden death this month. I've already saved nearly 10 chapters of the manuscript, but my work rhythm has been completely exhausted this week. I have read through all the paths that everyone has pointed out to me. I still dare not do the things that make me bigger, stronger, and more glorious. I have to be in awe. If I raise money for air tickets, I can either go to Helsinki to pick up garbage in Mingtian Bay, or take the green train to Inner Mongolia to raise sheep.